Hi, it's Shona from Coach Perry. Today we are talking around periodization, but specifically around strength training and how you put that in accordance with your periodization running plan. All right, so let's dive into this in a little bit more detail. What exactly is periodization for strength training? Essentially, it's about your overall plan and how it pertains to every sort of week or every month. Even more than that, because running is your main sport, this is around how the strength training works in and around your overall running plan and how to balance your weeks and your months and your overall year. You might be wondering why this is all important for your running. I'm going to hand over to Dev. He's going to give you an explanation on that.
All right, so now let's look at why it's actually important to periodize your strength training. So much like you would with your running, where we periodize your running over a period of time, where we are in a building phase, where we're laying a good base foundation phase, and then obviously tapering towards events, the exact same thing would apply to the strength. Remember, any strength training we do, the idea of the strength is to complement your running training. So when you are in a phase and you're focusing on running where you might be trying to build a little bit of strength with things like running hills, the same would apply with your strength, where we're trying to build a little bit more of a strength focus. When we're trying to build a bit of speed, the strength needs to complement that, and the strength training then actually becomes a little bit more plyometric type of work, a little bit faster type of movements. So it is very important that your strength training and your running speak to each other and work well together. Coming into your taper before a race, for instance, or even in your deload week or your recovery weeks in your cycle or your periodization of the plan, it is important to actually reduce the amount of strength training as well. So the same as weeks where we are either running time trials or we are running a race, we want to make sure that we're fresh and our body's not feeling a little bit sore and heavy from the strength training. So again, just to sort of recap, as much as you want your running periodized and to be fresh for your races, it is also important to do the exact same for your strength.
All right, thanks Dev for that. I'm going to dive a little bit more into practically how we make this work for you. So think about your overall year plan. And if we're just talking strength now, so don't think about the running specifically, just focusing on the strength training. You want to be able to periodize or move your strength around so that you're not doing the same thing all the time. You also really want to create building blocks or foundational sort of work so that you're not diving into the really high intensity or the really heavy stuff starting out. You're going to be building the blocks on top of each other. So from a year's perspective, you want to be running your plan, specifically with strength, in according to your seasons. So let's say you have your goal race, you then take an off season, and when you start your new year plan, that is where you will start your strength training. In that strength sort of block, what you really want to be focusing on is some pure strength building. We want to be getting some good foundational strength so that we are getting stronger and preventing injuries for later on. So we're building the body up to become more sustainable and able to go through the loads that we're going to expect it to do later on as we're getting into our heavier running blocks. So from that first block, once you've got a nice base of strength work, from there you will start perhaps moving into a bit more, I want to say, functional type exercises, things that are very specific to running. Then in the last sort of part, as you're getting closer to your race day, from there you definitely want to be reducing the load of strength and perhaps doing some slightly more high intensity, a little bit of sharpening exercises, some power or plyometric work depending on your level and where you're at, so that you're sharpening, getting ready for your race day. That's the overall year kind of plan. From there we will take that down into perhaps blocks or quarterly blocks and how we'll work that out. And I've dived into a little bit of detail there, and then those will then obviously go down into more of your week on week sort of plans and how we go and plan those and work those out in your running schedule. I'm going to hand over to Dev because he's going to give you the practical examples of how to build your weekly plan and how you drag that into race week or race week -2 to make that specific for you so you are sharp and ready to go on race day.
Again, much as we would try and taper leading in towards either a deload week or leading in towards an event, you want to do the same with your strength, where you actually want to take some strength out for the week of a race or your recovery week, rather your deloading week. So the idea there is to make sure that the body isn't feeling heavy, your muscles aren't a little bit sore, and you are as fresh as possible to give your best performance on race day. Now coming down to the actual how do we structure our strength training in race week? So typically what we like to do is, if it's shorter distances, so your 5, 10, 21 kilometer type distances, we're happy for you to carry on with strength training till 2 weeks out. And in the final week, so in race week itself, you want to just keep the lighter session. So one strength session in the week, probably on a Monday, which what we do is we call our band and core type of work, so a little bit of an easier session, and then keeping the foot core in your training for that race week itself. When we start to talk marathons, ultra marathons, then it becomes important for 2 weeks out to really reduce the load on your strength training. So 2 weeks out from race day, possibly just having the one session in, again, that lighter band core type of session, as well as the foot core. And then in race week, you can actually leave that strength session out and just do your foot core session, making sure again that we're as fresh as possible to give it our all on race day.
Cool. Thanks, Dev, for that. I hope this makes sense, and I hope you got a ton of value from this video. If you did, don't be afraid to hit the like button, post any comments or questions in the comments section below. And if you're interested, if you click on the link on the screen now, you'll get directed to our free strength plan.